Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. As you probably know, Russia withdrew from the Black Sea Grain Agreement with Turkey, United Nations, and Ukraine, and they've been destroying the Ukrainian port facilities in the south of Ukraine by the Black Sea. Therefore, probably the Ukrainians being and not being able to ship their grain again. The Russians also said that each or every vessel that goes supposedly to pick up grain from Ukrainian ports will be viewed as a possible transport of weapons. Therefore, this article shows us that they will inspect each and every ship going into the Black Sea. Well, that's kind of crazy. But the Russians, in the meantime, as I said, bombarded terrorists in the Odessa region. And the Ukrainians say, well, they destroyed the grain facilities, but it's okay, we're going to do the same thing to the Russian ports. So it's going to be on and off. And who's losing, as I said in another video, is going to be the world who's going to be having less grain. All right, well, actions have consequences. Now, this article here, I think, exposes a mistake, I think, to a certain extent, done by the Russians, which is they promise to inspect each and every vessel in the Black Sea. That means you go out of your den. That means someone with a scope can pick you up. Therefore, when you're going to start inspecting, I don't think the Russians will have enough vessels to inspect. Let's say if you overwhelm them with, let's say, 50. The Russians don't have 50 vessels. What are you going to do? Stop them? How are you going to stop them? Or let's say the 150 vessels coming towards the Ukrainian ports. How are you going to stop them all? You're going to do a barrage? Possibly. But the other thing is, if you do a barrage, you are out in the field. And you're going to be somewhere around or in front of the Ukrainian ports where they have mines and they have missiles. So I don't think that's going to be enforceable. Or if it's going to be enforced, we're going to have some Russian ships. Blah, 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 blah. So let's go and see what this article says. Ukrainska Pravda. Russia announces inspection of all vessels in the Black Sea waters. That's crazy. Let me show you what these guys want to do. This is Ukraine. This is Crimea. So these are the ports right here. Odessa. I don't know if Nikolaev or not, but here is the area. That's another one right here. Belgorod, Dnitrovsky, this right here, and this that the Ukrainians were bombarding. So how are you going to put your fleet right here? So you're going to be close to their coast. These guys might use some Neptune to send you to meet Jesus. Are you going to do it here? How far are you going to do it from this? They're going to receive all kinds of weapons from the Americans right now. They're going to get you here, and they will get you with the British ones, with Storm Shadow missiles. Guarantee you that. So that's crazy, and I don't think it's enforceable. But hey, let's see what these guys are saying. Russia has warned of its intention to inspect all vessels passing through the Black Sea. Russian media citing Sergei Vershinin, this guy, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation, stated that the Russian Federation will consider all ships traveling through the Black Sea as containing military cargo. But before taking any measures, that means blowing them up, it will inspect the ships. And I'm quoting, "It is about the fact that we must ensure that the ship is carrying something bad. This means an inquiry, an inspection if necessary, to make sure if it is true or not," end quote. He said this in Moscow. And I'm quoting again, "There is no maritime humanitarian corridor anymore. Now there is a zone of heightened military danger," the Russian said. On July 19, the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation announced that starting on midnight on July 20th, Russia will consider all vessels traveling to Ukrainian ports as those involved in a military conflict, regardless of flag. What if there's no flag? Pirates? All right. Russia also said that terminating the grain deal means the withdrawal of shipping safety guarantees. guarantees. In response, the Minister of Defense of Ukraine issued a statement warning that from July 21st, the next day, all vessels going to the ports of the Russian Federation or ports in occupied Ukraine can be considered as carrying military cargo. Okay, all right. That means all these ports right here in the Sea of Azov, these guys are gonna destroy whatever they... Are they gonna inspect them? I don't think so. They're just gonna blow them up. I don't know. I don't think so either. But we'll find out, right? I don't think that measure is enforceable. Unless they plan it very, very carefully and very, very far from the Ukrainian shores and from, you know, if you remember a few weeks ago, it was a reconnaissance. Was that a reconnaissance? I have scabies. Reconnaissance vessel. No, reconnaissance. I think it was. And it was by the Turkish shore. So it was south of the Black Sea. And remember those alleged drones? I mean, they were on camera coming and they were blown up by the Russians from the... So I'm guessing the Brits that helped the Ukrainians with these nautical drones or aquatic drones will say, woohoo, we're in business, we're going to make some profits, let's go, start the production. I think that's what's going to happen. A lot of little drones are going to come and the Russians, boom, and boom, 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 boom. And the world is starving. Starving. I made a video maybe 2 days ago or 3 days ago. There was some data picked by Sputnik, I think. So the Russian media picked it from the United Nations. That's the source they used, where they said that actually the Ukrainian grain, the total Ukrainian grain, goes like this. 38% of it goes to the European Union. So when they say, oh, poor guys are starving, 38% goes to the European Union. Doesn't mean that they're not human, right? So they're starving too. The prices will go very high. Then 30% goes to Turkey, and then 20% goes to China. And then 2%, according to the UN data, goes to the global south. In this case, the Russians said probably Africa. But the Russian says, you know what? Now that the Ukrainians will not send grain anymore, we're going to give you some grain. So we take over Red Rover. We'll see. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. So I don't know if how this will be enforced, and I don't know if the Russians will be... what, do you think the Russians will be delivering now grain to the European Union? Not impossible. There'll probably be certain kind of countries that will say, yeah, we want it. Even though the Americans said, we're going to take care of that grain through, I don't know, Romania, or maybe by train going through Poland, Hungary, Slovakia, we'll figure it out. Well, good for you. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.